Ecclesiastes 8:10 is a very interesting verse, and it describes something that we see happening in this country every day. The verse says, "And so I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from the place of the holy, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done." This is also vanity. John Gill has a very edifying exposition of this verse. The verse is divided up into 4 clauses. The first says, "And so I saw the wicked buried." Gill says that these wicked men were carried to their graves in great pomp and state, and interred in a very magnificent manner, when they deserved no burial at all, but as King Jeconiah to be buried with the burial of an ass. The second part says, "Who had come and gone from the place of the holy." He says that this is referring to the multitudes of people who attend the funerals of the wicked, saying they walked after or followed the corpse. They go into the so-called holy place, and then they leave the so-called holy place and walk in great solemnity from thence to the place of interment. The third part says, "And they were forgotten in the city where they had so done." That is, all their evil deeds were forgotten, their acts of oppression and injustice, as if they had never been done by them. Panegyrics upon them were written and rehearsed. Monuments were erected to their honor, with large encomiums of them. Before reading this exposition, I had never heard the word panegyric before, but it's another word for a eulogy. It means a lofty oration or writing in praise of a person or thing. The verse ends by saying this is also vanity. That is, the pompous funerals of such wicked men is vanity. This verse sounds a lot like the pep rallies that attend the burials of soldiers, dignitaries, and other so-called heroes in this country. Now this passage continues with more good words that describe the wicked people in this generation. Ecclesiastes 8:11-13. "Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before God." In other words, you, in all of your ignorance, reason that because God doesn't immediately strike you down when you sin, that therefore you can continue to defy Him. And you don't do it with any reservations. Your heart is fully set to do it. But look at the context of the verse. Your wicked heart is fully set to do evil right on the heels of you coming and going from the pompous funeral in the so-called holy place to bury the wicked man who deserves the burial of an ass. Right after you delivered or listened to eulogies saying what a wonderful person the wicked man was, and how God didn't have anything to do with his death, and now he's in heaven, etc., etc. Right after that, you thought, well, God hasn't executed sentence against me, so I'm going to continue to sin with all of my might. I'll give you a recent example. God sent Massachusetts a message a few weeks ago in the form of a couple of bombs at the Boston Marathon. Residents of Boston spent the next several days living in terror, afraid to come out of their houses. Make no mistake, that entire event was a judgment from God because you introduced fag marriage to this country. We told you that, and you heard us tell you that. And you said, well, if God was really mad at us, He would have punished us back in 2004 when we started marrying fags. He wouldn't have waited 9 years. And He wouldn't have only killed some of us. He would have wiped Massachusetts off the face of the map. Now, before the smoke at the finish line of the Boston Marathon had dissipated, NBA player Jason Collins announced that he was a fag and told everyone that the timing of his announcement was because of the Boston Marathon bombings. And both Rhode Island and Delaware enacted legislation to allow fags to marry, and Minnesota's in the process. Truly, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil, but we know how it will turn out for you. It shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before God. There will come a day shortly when the execution of your sentence will no longer be delayed. Amen.
For more good Bible preaching, go to GodHatesFags.com. To find out why your nation is doomed, go to GodHatesTheWorld.com. For news, parodies, and documentaries about our doctrine, go to SignMovies.com. For news on the pedophile rape machine called Catholicism, go to PriestRapeBoys.com. For more on the pure heresy and idolatry called Islam, go to GodHatesIslam.com. To see the mask peeled off the fag juggernaut, go to GodHatesTheMedia.com. And for WBC blogs, go to blogs.sparenot.com.